feeling for the world. Everyone, according to their nature, this is quite a well-known principle. Epictetus, Greek philosopher, said, we don't see the world the way it is. We see the world the way we are. I was walking the other morning, just starting a morning walk, and I walked past a fire hydrant, and I was thinking how different entities see it differently. I think I thought of a person who's in the fire department, sees it as a strategic point to put out a fire. And then there might be someone who's parking his car and thinks, this is not a place to park. And then there may be a dog who are famous for urinating on fire hydrants. That's what they do. At least it's a cliche, but I think they do it. And 3 different entities, 3 different souls, 3 different bodies, 3 different mentalities. We could expand that into a multitude. And that is the bhava, or the perspective that one develops, as Krishna says in the Gita. The only way to be on time is to be early. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunte prakriti jangunan karanam gunasangosya sarasad yoni janmasu. That's a very instructive verse from the 13th chapter, 22nd verse of 13th chapter, 22nd verse of the Bhagavad Gita, in which Krishna says that whatever we are now and whatever situations will be in the future are caused by our association. Whomever we associate with, we become like. And therefore, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is specifically designed to give association with sadhus. The word sadhu comes from the root word in Sanskrit, sad. It has various forms, as all Sanskrit words generally have, according to the way they are inflected. So there's the sadhu, who's the one who, sad, by the way, means success. It means to come to a progressive point in life, to make progress. And there is a sadhu, the one who's making progress. There's the sadhya, or the goal that the sadhu is working for. And there's the sadhana, or the practice that gets one to the goal. So when we sing our song in the morning at 4:30 a.m., it's a starting point to remember that we're getting good guidance being passed down through the system of teachers. Comes originally from Krishna. The instructions are so important and they're potent in such a way that by following them, one can overcome the hurdle of birth and death. And in the second verse, it's mentioned that those who are in the line of teachings from Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Does everybody know who Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is? Raise your hand if you've heard of him. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, as I see, it was almost 95%, and I still go on saying the same thing I might have said anyway, is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam in various places. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangashta Parshanam Yagnai Sankatana Praya Rejantihi Sumedasaha. Karabhajana Muni, especially, the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam mentions the advent of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by saying that in Kali Yuga there'll be a special incarnation of Krishna. And what is the characteristic of that incarnation of Krishna? Krishna Varnam, Tusha Krishnam. He's not blackish. He's golden, actually. And Sangopangashta Parshadam, he'll be accompanied by his various associates who help him to spread the Sankirtan movement. Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer, and what will he teach? The Yuga Dharma, and that is Sankirtan, or the congregational chanting of the holy name. Yajantihi Sumedasa. People who are Sumedasa, raise your hand if you're Sumedasa. It means you're smart. Sumeda means very smart. So You're all, you could raise your hands because you're here. 1, 2, 3, go. You're not being unhumble. That's a weird way to put it. It's just a fact. Those who have taken to the Sankirtan movement are known to be intelligent. Sume Dasa. And also he talks about, Karabhajan, when he speaks about Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu in other verses, he says, Jayam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham tirtaspadam shiva vrinchi nutam sharanyam pratyartiham pranatapala pababdipotam vande mahapurushate charanadavindam. That is that he's the Mahapurush. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means his supreme person, and he's fit to be meditated upon. There are other personalities in the world, in fact, a multitude of personalities that people do meditate upon. For instance, famous cricket players, perhaps? No? Nothing like that. Movie stars. If you drive through Mumbai, I saw a throng of people, and I said, who's that? And they said, oh, movie stars over there. Everyone wants to have a look. So there's all types of personalities in this world one might take a look at and even meditate upon. They go home and think, oh, he has dreamy eyes. Jayam Sada. But actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only one fit to be meditated upon. Jayam Sada. He is the one you can continue meditating upon. You'll never be disappointed. Paribhavagnam. What will happen if you meditate on Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu? Paribhavagnam means paribhava. All the embarrassments of life. What are the main embarrassments? We're in a body that falls apart. And everyone tries to maintain it to the last minute. And they go, well, I'll try again next life. That's samsara. And so he says, paribhavagnam. Gnam means to take away something. And the paribhava, the embarrassment of material life, is destroyed by meditating upon Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And here's a very nice aspect. Parvam abhishtadoham. We may not even know what to desire in this world. Many people desire things that aren't good for them. Do you agree? Yeah. So people, they want something and it's not good for them, but they want it anyway. Can anybody think of something like that? Somebody wants something and it's not good for them? Can't think of anything? So you could think of anything. Practically everything that people desire is misguided. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, helps us to come to abhishtadoham, that is, to fulfill our innermost desire that actually satisfies us. So the prayer we sang this morning is a celebration of the fact that we're getting guidance that will take us beyond the material world, that will extinguish the forest fire of material existence. And today we're celebrating Radhashtami. This is a particular day that is the appearance day of the Shakti, the supreme Shakti of Krishna. We celebrated Janmashtami recently, and now we're celebrating the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, who's the eternal consort of Krishna. So that was my way of stalling until we came to the right point. I hope you liked it. Now we'll just together, if you like, say a few prayers of Mangalacharana. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if somebody knows the exact schedule and wants to write it on a little piece of paper and put it on this table right here, then we'll have a smooth ride. Otherwise, anything can happen. Is that possible? Yes. Okay. So now, and of course, once I get that, then it'll give me a clear idea about how to proceed. But in the meantime, I think that we should chant a little bit, because it's highly recommended. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thanks. Not on here either. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. You're hired. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Shri Radhashtami Mahamahotsav ki Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Thank you again, everyone. Those of you who have just joined us. We started a little early today just to get some momentum. You didn't, well, you did miss something, but it's not like you can't make up for it. And it's not your fault. So today is Radhashtami, the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. Our scriptures, the Shastra, and the great teachers of the Shastra, the Acharyas, give an overview of our situation as living beings, which we are. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that everyone has a particular situation according to the way they've been affected by the three modes of material nature in this world. And he also says in the Bhagavad Gita that he's reciprocating with everybody according to their desires. And so Krishna has an overall purpose for the material world. Actually, when you read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 87th chapter, the prayers by the personified Vedas, they mention how there's a dual purpose to this world. One purpose is to give living entities an opportunity to try to enjoy the material nature. But I hate to break it to anybody listening anywhere, but that's not going to happen. We can try and try, but it doesn't add up because we're spiritual beings living in a material world. And the result of trying to get comfortable or to enjoy here in the material world, or even to stave off miserable situations, will be unsuccessful. But there's another purpose for the material creation, and that is to come back to our original consciousness. And we all have an original consciousness, which is called Krishna consciousness. And it's an awareness that we're part and parcel of Krishna and that we're his eternal servitors. In the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Krishna says, Mamai vamsho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, manakshastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. And that is that all living beings that we see in this world are fragmental parts of Krishna. Just as there may be sparks that come from a fire, they have the same quality as the fire, but they're different in magnitude. They're tiny, whereas the fire is unlimited and enormous. Or when you speak about the sun, of course, any metaphor falls short because anything in the material world has a beginning and an end, so we give metaphors that we can use as thought bridges, but Krishna's energy is unlimited, it's eternal. Just as Krishna has always existed, we've always existed as well. Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. So, what is our nature? Our nature is that we're pure living entities, and our nature is to be servants of Krishna. And in serving Krishna, who's the complete whole, we as the parts of the complete whole feel satisfaction, even bliss in that service. But just as when sparks get separated from a fire, depending on where they land, they may be practically extinguished or they may be very faint. They need to be in connection with the fire in order to display their illumination because they're supported by the fire, and it's the same with us. There are various energies in the universe. One of them is this material world, which Krishna describes in the Gita as being made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the gross and subtle material elements. We're superior entities. He says, Apare mitastanyam prakritim vidi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho ya yedam daryate jagat. We're superior to the material nature. We're a different kind of energy. We're conscious, just like Krishna is. Nonetheless, because the material energy is Krishna's energy, and it comes from Krishna, as Krishna says in the Gita, Daivahi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameveye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. He says it's the divine nature, even though it's external and material, and even though we're superior to it because it's Krishna's energy, then we're susceptible to come under its control. In the Gita 7th chapter, Krishna says, Tribir gunamayar bhaverevi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. That to all living beings in this world, no matter how powerful they are, materially are still under the control of the three modes of material nature, which are emanations from Krishna. So, what is the way that we can change the situation that I talked about in the very beginning, which is being subjected to the stringent laws of material nature, which force us to take on newer and newer material situations, all of which have the same characteristic, and that is that they're miserable. Well, that's what I said in the beginning, Krishna consciousness. And the Krishna consciousness has characteristics. That is, pure consciousness is characterized by the impetus to serve Krishna without any desire for material gain. And it's ever increasing and it never stops. It's not that we take it up and then we do something else, but it continues. So this is the statement of Sutta Goswami at the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when he describes or answers, that is, the sages who have asked him what is the supreme destination for all humanity. And he says, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhoksije ahai tukya pratiyata yatma suprasidati. That is, that the supreme occupation for all humanity is to render unmotivated, uninterrupted service to the Supreme Lord. And by doing that, then one feels satisfaction of heart. And this type of consciousness is exemplified in the spiritual world. In the material world, we have desire. And in the spiritual world, the living entities who are like us, only they're not affected by the three modes of material nature, also have desire. And in the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, which describes the spiritual world and also talks about Krishna and his counterpart, Srimati Radharani, whose appearance day we're celebrating today, describes the difference in desires between those who desire material things in the material world and those who are in the spiritual world and also have desires. So that's an important point to start with. And that is that we have desire, whether we're in the material world or the spiritual world. Some people think that spiritual perfection means to give up all desires. Of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks Krishna what it's like to be a self-realized soul, Krishna says, Prajahati yada akaman sarvan parta manogatan atmanyeva manatushta stita pragnasta dochite. And that is that a person who's fixed in consciousness notices that there are material desires flowing from the mind, which is like a little factory that produces all kinds of ideas for enjoyment in the material world, at least in the beginning, until it becomes completely purified. And that's something else that we can describe later, if there is a later, since I'm running out of time already. And that is that he says prajahati, which means the person's able to make some space between him or herself and the material desires that are coming through the mind. Did your mind ever offer you some suggestions of ways that you could combine things in the material world and be happy? Really? Like what? There's combinations of food. There's combinations of majors you can take. There's combinations of ice creams. We used to have 3 only. I don't want to scare anybody here, but when I was a kid, and this may sound like supreme deprivation, we only had 3 flavors of ice cream: chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. That's it. There was no conception. Oh, vanilla. Did I say vanilla? Yes. Vanilla, strawberry, chocolate. See, I'm freaking out the kids here. I know this is a family show. There was no gelato. There was no 31 flavors or whatever they have. Only 3. Anyway, we're always looking to add more flavors to everything, to try to add more combinations and permutations to whatever we do. If you ride a bicycle, that might not be good enough. You have to ride it off a cliff and see if you can survive at the end. Everyone wants to try something, and in the material nature, Krishna's giving opportunity for people. So you be a bird. You jump off a cliff. You're a very light body. The bones are hollow. You're not going to, even if you jump off, you're not going to die. But everyone wants to experience some kind of interaction with the world and some variety to try to enjoy it. That's quite natural. But when we do that in the material world, the result is not what we hope for. Ultimately, Krishna says in the material world, when we have this interaction between ourselves and the material energy, we end up feeling cheated. First of all, it gets boring after a while, doesn't it? People get bored. They do something for a while, and they say, can't we do something else? And even if they get addicted to it and they have to keep doing it, it's so boring, but they still can't stop doing it because they don't have an alternative. But in the spiritual world, it's different. The devotees who become purified by the process of Krishna consciousness develop spiritual desires. And what is a spiritual desire? Well, first of all, Kaviraj Goswami, who's the author of the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, which is a biography of Lord Chaitanya, the most recent avatar of Krishna, and also it gives his the instructions that he gave about how to practice devotional service. It says that Atmendriya Priti Vansha Taribalikam. There's a vansha means desires, just like we say vansha kalpatarubhyascha, vansha kalpatarubhyascha. There's a way, vansha, that the devotees fulfill all desires. That's where we heard that before. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha. So he says that atmendriya priti. So priti means love. And indriya means senses, and atma means yourself. So atmendriya priti means a love for your own senses. And that means that I'm working and gathering together resources so that I can satisfy my own senses. That's what's called love for one's senses. Atmendriya priti vansha tari balikam. Balikam means that's what's called kam or lust, or material desire. Kam, material desire, lust. And let me give you the definition of a material desire that will change your life forever in a good way. And that is a material desire, or kama means a desire that can never be fulfilled. Feel better? Thank me later. So then he says, Krishnendriya priti icha. Icha also means desire. But Krishnendriya priti, do you hear a difference in the two lines? Atmendriya priti, indriya and atma get merged together through Sandhi rules. So you have atma and indriya becomes atmendriya. So atmendriya priti, love for my senses. What is that called? Tari, Bali. Let's hear it now. Oh, no, you're not all getting it now. Kam. And what is kam? Lust, material desire. And what's the characteristic of material desire? You can't fulfill it. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yona evate adyantavanta konteya nateshu ramate Buddha. He says, an intelligent person, a Buddha, is somebody who knows this. So you got to know this first, that a material desire can't be fulfilled. He goes a step further, though. Not that it just can't be fulfilled. He says, when you try for it, the minute you try for it, that's when you start suffering. It's like, I'll fulfill this desire, now you suffer. And the result of your interaction with a material desire, which means I want to satisfy myself, he says, Krishna says, that from the womb of that interaction comes a little fella called Dukhi. And if anybody knows who Dukhi is, well, you don't want to know him. He's a little rascal who just causes you problems day and night, little Dukhi. Little Dukhi means misery. Dukhi, dukkha, duk means unhappiness. It actually literally means bad space. So little Dukhi comes out and turns everything into a bad space. So that's what the Atmendriya Priti brings. Then he says, Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dari Prem Nam. Dari Prem Nam says, now this is what we call prem. So there's two ideas here. One is calm. Everyone say calm. Is that good or bad? Bad. And then we have prem. So that's good. So let's test it out. Calm. Prem. Okay. Prem. Prem. Calm. Very good. That's all you need to know. So he says this prem is in relationship to satisfying Krishna's senses. If you love Krishna, and Krishna has senses, as we know from the Sri Brahma Samhita, Angani yasa sakalendriya vritti manti, pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti, ananda chinmaya sadujvala vigrahasya govindamani purusham. His senses are amazing. He can accept our offerings. He can eat with his ears. That's what this verse says. Can you all eat with your ears? Can you eat with your ears? Have you seen him eating with his ears in private? No? Krishna can eat with his ears. He can reach out across universes and accept your offerings. If you lift up a flower very sincerely and you say, Krishna, please accept this flower. I just want to offer this to you out of love. I grew it for you. He can reach all the way from Goloka Vrindavan and take your flower. Therefore, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, Yo me Bhaktya Prayachiti, Taraham Bhaktuparitam. Ashnami means whatever you offer me, I'll taste it, I'll smell it, I'll accept that offering. So this is called devotional service, and it's also known as Krishnendriya Priti, love for Krishna's senses. Krishna is a person, he has senses, and we want to please Krishna by pleasing his senses. So Srimati Radharani is Krishna's Shakti, his primal energy that is known as Hladini Shakti. Now there's several Shaktis in the spiritual world, or in the internal potency, we sometimes say. There are various potencies. I mentioned them briefly. The Vishnu Purana, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted when he spoke to Sanatana Goswami, said that these three potencies, Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta, Kshetra Gyakya Tata Para, Avidya Karma Sangyanya, Tritiya Shakti Rita. Tritiya, three different general categories of energies. One is the internal energy, the spiritual world. The next one is the material world. And what else is there? We ran out. What else could there be? Marginal potency. The marginal potency is, point to somebody who's in the marginal potency. Souls, the living beings, the little sparks of Krishna. We're actually in a very fortunate position because we get to serve Krishna. We get to appreciate Krishna. What's the use of a king if he doesn't have any subjects, right? What's a beehive if there's no queen bee inside? Nothing. Everyone takes off. They think, no, this is no fun. So the living entity has the eternal occupation. Here's what your eternal occupation is. You can write it on your immigration form if you're ever going through customs, and it says, what's your occupation? And you just write in there, appreciator. I appreciate God. And you're part of God, so I appreciate you too. And then they'll let you in the country. It doesn't matter what else you put on your form. So this formula, or this description of these three energies, is important because you have to know where you are. So when we're in the material energy, we're subject to the laws of the material world, and we may become disoriented, and we may think that happiness comes from satisfying our own senses. But Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught devotional service, which means to start using our senses to please Krishna's senses. Now someone may say then, what's in it for me? You want to say that? Go ahead, what's in it for me? Well, the scripture answers, says, Sarvopati vanir muktam tat pratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchate. And that is that when you serve Krishna's senses, even while you have material senses, then your senses become purified. And what happens then? Then you can enjoy spiritual happiness, and it's the opposite of the material experience. Whereas in material happiness, there's a beginning and an end. Antavanta kunteya. Krishna says the reason smart people don't like material happiness or lust is because it has a beginning and an end. Why would you start something that's going to be taken away from you or it's going to be over? So spiritual happiness doesn't have an end. It continues and it increases. That's what we want, because that's our nature. But we don't like the material energy. Say we don't like the material energy. Yeah, everything has a beginning and end here. We like the spiritual energy. So the process of devotional service means to use our present senses that are used to engaging in material activities for our own purposes, for love of our own senses, and instead please Krishna's senses. That's called devotional service. And once we engage them in service, the senses become spiritualized and we can start to enjoy spiritual pleasure. Now, in the spiritual world, there's three major potencies. They're called Hladini, Sandini, and Samvit. These are all Sanskrit names, but they just mean that there are a variety of energies that emanate from God that are interacting in the spiritual world in a way that are for pleasing Krishna, and everyone who's engaged in pleasing Krishna in the spiritual world is eternally blissful and happy. Those same energies, when they get transferred to the material world, turn into sattva, rajas, and tamas, these three energies. And the sattvas and rajas and tamas have a particular characteristic here. What was pleasure-giving in the spiritual world here is called what is known as hladatapatraya, which means the harder we try, the more we suffer. The more we try to please our senses, the more we enter into misery. And when we take devotional service, the emblem of all pure devotional service, or the highest level of devotional service, is Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani is our patron. She shows us what the quality of pure devotional service looks like. And in the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Srimati Radharani and all of her associates, who are all expansions of Krishna's internal potency, only try to please Krishna. They don't want anything in return for their service. They just want to do more and more service for Krishna. And whatever makes Krishna happy, that makes them happy. In fact, there's a story about how one time Krishna had a headache, and he started asking his devotees for some foot dust because he said that would be the medicine that would cure his headache. And he asked Narada to go and look for some devotees who would hand over their foot dust so Krishna could put it on his head and cure his headache. That doesn't sound good, right, Arman? Is that you who made the exclamation? He did it, yeah. See, that's a devotee. He's thinking about Krishna and he's like, I don't want to give my foot dust to Krishna. That's an offense, right? He knows. He's trained up. He knows how to do deity worship. He knows if there's some paraphernalia of Krishna's, you don't step over it. You don't. You're very careful the way you move around the deity and around Krishna, right? So the last thing you'd want to do is say, here's my foot dust, put it on Krishna's head. So Narada went around and he asked all the devotees, and they said, what's the foot dust for? First of all, devotees don't like to give their foot dust anyway, but then they said, Krishna wants to put it on his head, and they say, no thank you. So after trying and trying, he came back. Narada told Krishna, I asked everybody, and they won't do it. Krishna said, you asked everybody? How about the gopis in Vrindavan? So no, I didn't ask them yet. Go ask them. So he went, and he said to the gopis of Vrindavan, Krishna has a headache. They said, this pained their hearts. He said, there's a cure for it. Yes. What is it? He wants your foot dust. They said, yes. They started taking dust from their foot. He said, wait a minute. All the other devotees said, no, it's an offense. He said, offense? We don't care if we go to hell for this. We don't care if it's an offense. If it cures Krishna's headache, fine with us. We're willing to go to hell for eternity if it cures Krishna's headache. This is a story told to emulate or to exhibit the mood of selfless service that it's for Krishna, for his satisfaction. I'm willing to do anything. And this is the mood of Srimati Radharani. Now, what's the result of that? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Srimati Radharani and her associates in the spiritual world have this selfless mood of serving Krishna. They decorate themselves so they're very beautiful. Why? For Krishna's pleasure. They're not thinking, oh, I want to look so beautiful because I'll be the most beautiful one there. Everyone will appreciate me. Maybe I'll get on a magazine cover. They're only thinking this is for Krishna's pleasure. And therefore, the more they endeavor to please Krishna's senses, the more they enjoy. And Kaviraj Goswami says they enjoy more than Krishna. That's a problem, right? Because Krishna's the supreme enjoyer. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Bhoktaram yagatapasam. I'm the supreme enjoyer. And by cooperating with my enjoyment, everybody else enjoys. And the gopis, and Srimati Radharani, they're so interested, exclusively interested in Krishna's happiness. So Kaviraj Goswami says, they enjoy 10 million times more than Krishna does. This is the position of the servitor of Krishna. If anybody feels, oh, I'm left out, why aren't I God? This is what everyone thinks in the material world. I should be God. Why is there a God and I'm not him? But those are in the spiritual world. They're content, not just content, but they're more content. They're more blissful than even Krishna. And especially when it comes to the quality of pure devotional service, Srimati Radharani, whose appearance day it is today, is the emblem of this pure devotional mood. And so the devotees take shelter of Krishna's internal potency, as it says Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanastu mam parta daivim prakritim ashrita bhajantyananya manaso gyatva bhutitim avhiyam. That the devotees who are great souls, they take shelter under the internal potency of Krishna, which means Srimati Radharani. Therefore, when we say Hare Krishna, we're saying Hare, which is the vocative form of Hara, which refers to Krishna's primal Shakti, Srimati Radharani. So we say Hare, which means, oh, Srimati Radharani, please engage me in Krishna's service. So we say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this means, oh my Lord, oh energy of the Lord, Srimati Radharani, please engage me in your service. So the devotees from chanting Hare Krishna are able to take shelter under Srimati Radharani, the internal potency of Krishna, the Hladini Shakti, and they feel happy and satisfied because they're engaging their senses in the service of Krishna, pleasing his senses. And therefore, the day of Radhashtami is extremely important to all the devotees because she is the one who's offering us service to Krishna and giving us an opportunity to come closer to him. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the quintessential teachings of Bhakti Yoga, it's mentioned in many ways that the process of devotional service is especially effective. There are many different paths that people take according to their present conditioning, and therefore the Vedas have a number of different ideas for people. For instance, there's the Puranas, which are an explication of the Vedas in ways that people can understand more easily because they're written mostly in story form that explain what the Vedic process is. And there are certain kinds of Puranas that are meant for people who are in lower modes of nature, like ignorance and passion. Then there are some Puranas that are in the mode of goodness. And then there's a Purana which is celebrated as the Amala Purana. It doesn't even touch the material mode of goodness, it's beyond that. It's called Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. It's a transcendental Purana, and it is especially recommended to come in contact with Srimati Radharani, the process of devotional service, to understand it completely. One should simply engage in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam daily, because the sound vibration itself comes from the spiritual world, And one who hears it, as described in the Bhagavatam, tadvag visargo janataga viplavo, which means that you'll undergo an evolution, a natural evolution in your life by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's also said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana, which means that just by hearing the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily basis, you'll acquire natural spiritual wealth within your heart, just by sitting and listening, by giving the time to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, or you can sit and read it yourself. Therefore, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is extremely important, is Krishna, but he's the combination of Krishna and Srimati Radharani together. So this is described in the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. Radha-Krishna pranaya vikritir hladini shakti rasmat ekat manav api bhuvipura deha bedam gatautau. Chetam nyakyam prakadamaruna tadvayam shaikyamatam. Radha bhava duti suvalitam nami Krishna sarupam. This means that Krishna, who is the Supreme, has, for his own enjoyment, taken two forms. Because no fun just being by yourself, right? Say yes. Okay, that's why you're all here, right? You came for the party. So nobody likes to sit by themselves. In fact, according to Amnesty International, the worst type of torture for any human being is to put them in solitary confinement. It's inhuman. It's a horrible thing to do to people, to put them in solitary confinement so they have no social interaction with anybody. We eternally want to enjoy rasa, or interaction with other living beings. As I already described, interaction with other living beings in the material world for our own sense gratification ends up in everybody being dissatisfied sooner or later. No matter how nicely it starts, there's always a rough patch somewhere along the line. So God is one, but he expands himself, Eko Bahusham, and into many for his own enjoyment. And his first expansion for his own enjoyment, or the Hladini Shakti, is called Srimati Radharani. Therefore, we have this verse, Radha-Krishna pranaya, for love. Pranaya vikritir Hladini Shakti rasmat. There's a special way in which God enjoys eternally and ever increasingly in the spiritual world, and that is between himself and his first manifestation of his Shakti, or his potency, who is personified as Srimati Radharani. Therefore, we worship Radha and Krishna, not just Krishna alone. Radha and Krishna go together. How about Narayan? We just worship him alone, right? Huh? Only three people? Lakshmi Narayan. How about Ram? Ram by himself? No, Vaisesika Dasa. It's Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, and Radha-Krishna. So Radha-Krishna pranaya vikritir hladini shakti rasmat. This is the source of all happiness. All happiness comes from this union between Radha and Krishna. This is what the secret of devotional service is. When we serve Radha and Krishna, then we enter into that internal potency where there's eternal, ever-increasing happiness. When we try to set up our own little program here, a little Ponderosa. You know what that is. Ponderosa. Those guys are laughing. A little scene for our own happiness in the material world, and we try to pretend we're Krishna. Then it ends up in suffering, IRS calls, you lose everything. Yeah, I know it's a family show. So anyway, in the spiritual world, everyone worships Radha and Krishna, and therefore they enter in. Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir hladini shakti rasmat ekat manav api bhuvi pura deha bedam gatauto. Now here it comes. Get ready. Chaitanyakyam prakadamaduna tadvayam chaikyam aptam. So what was two, Radha and Krishna, wait for it, becomes one in Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's a reason for this. Krishna is God. He's the supreme enjoyer, but Srimati Radharani enjoys more than him. So he thinks, I'm the supreme enjoyer. I want to taste what she's enjoying. So I, God, will come as my own devotee. And that's what he does. So when that happens, you're in luck. That means you're all in luck, because he was just here recently. And he brought with him a process, a devotional service by which you can worship Radha and Krishna through Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu in a simple process called Sankirtan. This is the Yuga Dharma. Everyone say Yuga Dharma. By chanting Hare Krishna, which is an address of prayer to Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. This is what Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught as the method for purification in this age. And he also taught that if you read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, along with chanting Hare Krishna, then you'll become you'll know all the details of devotional service, so much so that you'll never be fooled again by the illusion of the material world by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, at the outset of Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tato Jayam Udire. This is your means of conquest. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. What's the first part? Okay, not everyone got it. The first part is read Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we got that. Second part is chant Hare Krishna. Okay, let's test it out. Correct. 2. That's all you got to do. So Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu approved of these methods. This is the Yuga Dharma. And Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is a representative of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he's sitting on the Vyas Asana. This is the seat of representing the parampara, or the disciplic line that comes from Krishna, and especially in our organization through Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And here's a pop quiz. It's worth 20 points. What did Srila Prabhupada bring with him? He didn't have any money, by the way. I'm just telling you right now. But he came on a cargo ship, and what did he bring with him besides, he didn't even have a toothbrush. 20 points for all my friends. Everyone wins. Everyone's a winner here at ISB. Very good. He brought with him Srimad Bhagavatam and the Hare Krishna mantra. That's it. Period. So that's all you need to know. And to enter into the process of devotional service, you can take this anywhere. Take your Srimad Bhagavatam, put it in your house. It's nice to have, I gave a set of Srimad Bhagavatams to a friend the other day, and they put it up on their mantle, and it changed their whole house, because the physical copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, according to the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, is a deity of Krishna. So having it physically there in your house, it is the deity that gives the most mercy, because you can go to that deity, you can take a volume and open it and see the pictures, you can feel the weight of the book, and then you can read the verses that are in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And by doing that, and then taking a little time out of your day and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, you're contacting the Hladini Shakti, you're taking shelter of Srimati Radharani in a very practical way. It's accessible to everybody in the Kali Yuga age. And by that, you're guaranteed that you'll feel natural satisfaction. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now, if you're clapping, it means you believe what I say. That means everybody who's clapped today should take a set of Srimad Bhagavatams. Okay? Oh, you're clapping again. We'll talk to you about that in a few minutes. Right now, however, the show goes on because we're going to have an Abhishek. If you notice that there are pujaris, Brahmins in their own right, who have been trained in the Pancharatric system, who are avowedly truthful, clean, they live a pure life, and therefore they're given the right to come and worship the deity right on the altar. This is the prerequisite for doing these kinds of ceremonies. Those who have gone through extensive training in the Shastra and also in the process of deity worship. And what they're going to do today is a very joyous ceremony, especially we do on the appearance days of the Lord. And today's the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, so we're going to have an Abhishek. So the Abhishek means that Radha and Krishna are going to come out onto that, what do we call it, a shnan, stali there. That's what that brass thing is. And they're going to stand there, and they're going to have their ceremonial bath in front of all of us. And it'll be broadcast on the screen there for people to see all over the world. And as they're taking their bath, we're going to have tumultuous chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. How does that sound? Haribol. So now let's do this. I recommend that everybody turn to the left so you're facing the altar by, how many degrees would that be? 45 degrees? 45? Engineers, everyone agrees? 90 degrees. Okay, 45 is all right. 90-degree turn. Are we going to try anything new? We haven't practiced it, right? We can try it? We better not. Which tune? Which tune? Quick vote. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna. Everybody. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Now we just have a few minutes until the artik is coming up, where we'll be able to all stand up and dance. If you want to turn, which way? Turn this way, please, for a moment. So many people called in and wrote in that wanted to use this occasion, Radhashtami, it's a special day, to gift a set of Srimad Bhagavatams to somebody they know. I did it the other day, as I mentioned earlier, and it's overwhelmingly positive experience bringing the Bhagavatam to somebody who's only knew a little bit about yoga, meditation, things like that. They were so excited to receive the sets and put them up in their home. And so what's happening now worldwide is a special campaign that is to observe what is called Bhadra Purnima. You all know what a Purnima is. It's the full moon, and it's coming up this month. This month is called the month of Bhadra. So it just so happens in the month of Bhadra, during the full moon, when you give away a set of Srimad Bhagavatams to somebody else, you get the return gift of reaching the supreme destination. And I'm not making this up. It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And around 6 years ago, although we had read that several times, we noticed it and we brought it to the attention of those around the world who love the Srimad Bhagavatam, who love the culture of Krishna consciousness, and who feel that the best way to preserve the culture of Krishna consciousness is to distribute it to as many other people as possible, especially through literature, which is an age-old way to inculcate knowledge and idea seeds into human society. After all, the great philosophies of the world, ideologies, come only into the human society very deeply after they've been explicated and articulated in writing, and especially in book form. So our line of teachers that come all the way from Brahma at the beginning of creation are known for passing down knowledge, and most recently through using the printing press, which they call the Brihat Madanga. This is a Madanga. Let's hear it a little bit. Something. Could you all hear that? Could they hear it across the street? No. So Brihat means bigger, or the big Madanga. So the big Madanga is called is the printing press. And the reason it's called the bigger mridanga is because the kirtan we just sang that could be heard probably by the neighbors, but not much further, not at the 7-Eleven down there. When you write it down, you abstract your singing and your speaking, and you put it in writing, and then you pass it on to other people. It becomes louder and louder and louder because it goes everywhere. And our teacher and founder Acharya noticed this, that during his time, one of the presidents of the United States had a son and daughter who were happened to be walking on the mall in Washington, D.C., and some devotees approached them and gave them some transcendental literature, the kind that we're talking about now, and they took it right in the White House. And Prabhupada said this mridanga they wouldn't let in there, but those went right in. So it's our age-old tradition to expand the sound vibration of the Krishna consciousness movement and of the spiritual world, most particularly in the Srimad Bhagavatam, through disseminating it to as many people as possible. And it just so happens, as Malini will take over and explain the rest, that Bhadra Purnima is in about 7 days on September, what are we saying, 29th or 28th? 29th, okay. Of course, we deal internationally, so some people say it's 29th, some people say 28th, according to the time changes. So, Malini, what's going on? Tell us what we've won.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So we have a video there's an inspirational song by Mani Manjari, which explains the theme of this Bhadra Purnima and this campaign. So we will play that now.
Somebody's crying because they can't hear it. I'm going to break into sobs also shortly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Prabhu, we are having some technical difficulties with the volume. Ramandasaka Prabhu is working on it. While Prabhu is working on it, we just wanted to let you know that as Prabhu was mentioning, we have just 1 week left for our Bhadra Purnima campaign. And our goal at ISV is to distribute at least 3,000 Srimad Bhagavatams by September 29th. And as you know, we are inching towards our goal, and we have this is one of the last opportunities, or one more maybe, I don't know, but we are requesting, if you would like to sponsor or get a Srimad Bhagavatam set, today is an opportunity. Today morning, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu was mentioning the best way to connect to the mercy of Srimati Radharani is to engage in the Sankirtan movement of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by distributing. So this is an opportunity. And we have opportunity to distribute Bhagavatam sets within America. Either you can get one for yourself, your friends, or you can sponsor for someone, and then we will take care of it. You can do it within US, or you can sponsor for a set in the villages of India. There's so many villages in India where the roots, the Vedic roots are being shaken up, but devotees are going village to village and placing these Srimad Bhagavatam sets and teaching the villagers how to educate themselves in this traditional Vedic knowledge. That's another opportunity. or we send it to other countries like South America. Why South America? Because South America, there are so many devotees who want to be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, but they cannot afford to get a Srimad Bhagavatam set. So last year, we just did a pilot project where we sent 251 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam to South America, and the response that we got was overwhelming. And the devotees, within South America, there are many, many countries, Peru, Brazil, and every other place. But devotees in South America, they went in ships, boats, buses, in suitcases. Somehow or other, they try to distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam to everybody, to whoever they can. So that's also another opportunity. We sent to Ukraine last year, and we sent to Japan as well. So the Bhagavatam set to sponsor within US is $250, and to sponsor anywhere outside America is $200. So if you like to do so, today is an opportunity. Prabhu, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, everyone should do it. I would like to sponsor one set of Bhagavatams for somebody here in this room who doesn't have a Srimad Bhagavatam set, can't afford one. Well, not necessarily can't afford one. Even if you can't afford one, I'll give you one anyway. But I would like to give you a set of Srimad Bhagavatams, and I'll personally deliver it if you don't live too far away. Anybody here who doesn't have a set of Srimad Bhagavatams? Okay. What is your name?
Richa.
Richa, I would like to give you a set of Srimad Bhagavatams today on Srimati Radharani's birthday, and on behalf of the Bhadra Purnima campaign. Please see me afterwards.
Haribo!
See,
Wow.
I survived. I'm still here. It's all right.
You're very lucky, Richa. Congratulations on getting your Srimad Bhagavatam set. Anybody else? If you like to... Okay. Kanka Mataji, who always is ready to sponsor, today wants to sponsor one Srimad Bhagavatam for someone in her community.
Haribo!
Haribo! Srivas Prabhu would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam for someone here.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, Haribo! What's your name, Mataji? I'm Jyoti.
Jyoti.
Yeah, Jyoti would like to sponsor for their aunt and uncle.
I think that's really sweet. They're here right in the room too, right? And there they are. Good hand.
Haribo!
Every time a Bhagavatam goes out, it creates this spiritual aura in the house, in the neighborhood. It becomes a center of spiritual education. What to speak of the villages of India, we have video proof where the Bhagavatam went out, and then they put it in the learning center, and people notice it. They start congregating around the Bhagavatam, hearing it. The only problem is, up till then, they don't have authentic literature. They don't have anything in there, so other people come in and tell them things, and they become disoriented. So the Bhagavatam brings things back into focus, the real purpose of life. You have the video, and want to see a video? You like movies? Okay, sit back, relax. Let's turn the lights down. Everyone should be happy in here. Come on. Let's do this. Of course, I'm not really convinced we're going to see a movie yet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Here we go.
Can't you hear the calling, that oceanic force? The battle cries abounding, the golden lions roar. 'Cause I can't deny it anymore. It's bursting through my core, I wanna knock on every door. Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur. I can't be satisfied, I feel it deep inside. The lion-hearted battle cry. Just touch the pavement, the people deserve it. It's time to cover the world. Can't you hear the calling, that oceanic force? The battle cries abounding, the golden lions roar. 'Cause I can't deny it anymore. It's bursting through my core, I wanna knock on every door. Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur. Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur. Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur.
Can we have the lights, please? Prabhu, while we were playing the video, we got a message. Oh, by the way, if you're watching online and if you'd like to sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can do so by texting or WhatsApp 408-515-5292. The number is on the screen as well, 408-515-5292.
Our operators are standing by to take your calls 24 hours a day today. Nalini?
Pankaj Prabhu?
5 sets,
Five sets for India.
Haribol! 5. That's a lot.
Prabhu, while we were waiting, oh, yes, Prabhu, your name? Brent.
Haribol!
Brent, 3 sets for South America. While we were waiting for the video, we got a message from His Holiness Ritadvaja Maharaj. And he said...
He's on there.
Oh.
Yeah, he's on the show.
Oh, on the Zoom.
What did he say?
He said that I'll take 1 set for an old friend who went to the temple with me the first time I ever visited the temple.
That's beautiful. Haribol! Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much for tuning in and for sponsoring a set.
We got a message from Preeti Radhika that she wants to sponsor 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam in the service of His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj.
Haribol!
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Mayank Prabhu.
My wife would like to sponsor 11 sets for US.
Haribol! 11
11
sets
sets for the US. Haribol!
Haribol! Prabhu, your name? Chaitanya. One set for? Within America. Chaitanya, one set.
Haribol! Chaitanya!
Ujjwala Rasa Mataji? 2 sets for India. Haribol! Your name? Prem Nam. Wow. Haribol! Prem Nam Prabhu, 5 sets for South America and 5 sets for
Prem
India.
Nam ki jai.
Haribol. Is there another microphone that we can give it to Hansapriya? Oh, we can. Yeah.
Where can they put it?
They can put it on Weekend Warriors.
We can put it on the Weekend Warriors WhatsApp,
Yes.
WhatsApp, Zoom, YouTube. We'll catch it from anywhere.
Venmo, PayPal.
Exactly.
Okay. This is.
Shraddha Mataji. Sorry,
Oh.
go ahead.
Yeah, Shraddha Mataji.
Haribol!
Nikunja Sundari is sponsoring 1 set for Arushi. Jai.
This is a message from Radha-Krishna Prabhu. He wants to sponsor 5 sets on behalf of his mother, late mother, Srimati Shanti Devi Dasi, who never missed an opportunity to listen Bhagavatam class anywhere nearby in their hometown.
Fantastic.
Haribol!
Shanti Devi Dasi ki jai.
Jai. This is Meera wants to sponsor 1 set to India.
Haribol!
Jamuna wants to sponsor 1 set for USA.
Haribol!
Anyone in the room, Prabhu? Ashok Narang Prabhu wants to sponsor 2 sets for USA. Haribol! This message is from Achyuta Kumar Prabhu. He would like to sponsor, actually, Avanish and Aradhya wants to sponsor 1 set each for India. Haribol! Okay, Nikunjanayak Prabhu wants to sponsor 3 sets to India and 2 sets to South America. Haribol!
408-515-5292. Standing by to take your texts and calls.
Shraddha
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. Yeah.
Haribol!
So that is Sudeep Sabnesh Prabhu wants to sponsor 5 sets outside the USA. Thank you. We take calls from the devotees outside the window, in the balcony here, in the kitchen. If you're in the restroom, you're still welcome.
Ukraine.
Kamala. Kamala is sponsoring 1 set for Ukraine. Haribol!
This message is from SKP Prabhu. He's on his way and he's sponsoring 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam for villages in India on behalf of Ramanuja Chaitanya. Ankita Chandak wants to sponsor 1 set for USA. Haribol! Okay, this message is from Vishakhalila Mataji, Sundarananda Prabhu, Sadhu Vrindavan Raja. They want to sponsor 10 sets today, 5 for India and 5 for South America. Haribol! And they're also seeking blessings for their niece Aditi, who turned 12 today, and for his brother's wife who's recovering from a major surgery.
Tathastu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we're counting down because Artik has to start at 7. So just letting you know there's 6 minutes left. So if you're holding out, now's a good time. Let it all out. Breathe. You can text it in if you want to stay anonymous.
Yes, Balaram. One set for US from Balaram. Haribo. I'll do one set for Nisha and Neil. Are they here? Nisha is here, who turns 30. Haribo.
Haribo! Also, it's a little known fact up till now, but we just got it approved in Mayapur, which is the headquarters for ISKCON. There's an altar with Lord Nrsingadev, you may be familiar, as famous deity. And we've created a silver box, which will be gold-plated, which will be placed at the lotus feet of the deity and left there all year long. And for everyone who sponsors a set, that's why we're taking your name's going in the box.
Wow.
So from all over the world, we're putting all the names of everyone who participates and sponsors a set in the box. And it goes on the altar and it stays there for the year. I'm just saying.
Jai.
There's 4 minutes left.
We have Caitanya Prabhu here who would like to sponsor one set for his cousin who in India who just passed away.
Haribo.
This message is from Jamuna. She said that she wants to sponsor for Gopal, the cowherd boy in their property, as is its birthday today.
Oh,
Haribo!
This is a message from Momita Mataji. One set for Karthik Thangaraj. Haribo!
Haribo! Coming from the lobby now. It's all coming out of the lobby.
Madhav and Mukund want to sponsor 4 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. Haribo! Hari Sankirtan Prabhu would like to sponsor 2 sets in India on behalf of his parents. Haribo!
Vaisesika Prabhu, would you also please mention what the Karuna Mai means on the Radhashtami? Why is it so important to get the Karuna from Radharani?
It's everything, really. This is the main process of devotional service. It's to put yourself in such a position that you'll receive mercy. We can only do so much on our own, but when we receive the mercy of Srimati Radharani, and the best thing to do, well, just think of it like this. Don't go to the store the day after they finish their sale of 80% off. You'll feel like a fool. Oh yeah, it was marked down 80% until today. Now it's over. So on these special days, that's why people go to Kumbh Mela, that's why people take special time on Ekadashi, but Radhashtami, it's the best of all days. So when you do something special, you make a sacrifice on this day, you get extra credit spiritually.
Thank you, Prabhu. Shraddha Mataji.
She needs a mic probably.
Yeah.
Is there a mic? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Anna. Haribo!
Malini, would you please repeat it so the devotees online
So
can hear
Shraddha
it?
Mataji, on behalf of her granddaughter Allison, is sponsoring 10 sets outside of USA.
For
Haribo!
for Guru Maharaj and Guru Ma.
Haribo!
Haribo. Yes, we have some here. If we can't see you, please come forward so we can all see you.
Chir Prabhu.
Ruchir Pandit. So Ruchir Pandit, on behalf of his 2 kids, Madhava and Haripriya, for outside India, correct?
Outside.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Outside India means?
Here in US.
Means America. Haribo!
Haribo.
Okay, Balaram.
If it's outside the universe, we charge extra.
Okay, Balaram wants to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam for US or outside US? US.
Haribol!
Haribol! Dhira Prashanta Prabhu would like to sponsor 2 sets, one for US and one for India. Haribol!
Yes.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Kennedy wants to sponsor one set for outside US.
Haribol!
Haribol! Vijay Lakshmi wants to sponsor one set for South America. Haribol!
Venu Geeta Mataji.
Okay. Venu Geeta, 2 sets outside USA.
Haribol!
Prabhu, remind your name, please.
Tapomai Prabhu wants to sponsor 3 sets outside of US on behalf of his late father-in-law. Haribol! Okay. This message from Vinay Prabhu wants to sponsor 1 set for grandparents from Aradhya and Aditya. Haribol! This message is from Mayank Agarwal Prabhu. 5 sets for India for his entire family who are gathered together for yajna in Lakshmi Narayan temple today. This is Mayank Agarwal. Haribol!
We have someone in the back. We can't see you, but you can. Yes, Prabhu. Venu Gopal Prabhu, 1 set for India.
Okay. This message is from
Oh.
Rasika Shiromani Mataji and Govind Charan Prabhu. They would like to sponsor 40 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam to wherever we would like to distribute. And they're saying that they're praying to Srimati Radharani and all the devotees to bestow the best of health to His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj. Haribol! Okay. This message is from Mayank Agarwal from Pleasanton. They would like to sponsor 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam for USA on behalf of their daughters Pranavi and Prisha. Haribol!
We have a wonderful lady here in the back. Please tell your name and. Archana would like to sponsor 1 set for her daughter.
Haribol! Okay. There is an anonymous donation. They would like to sponsor 25 sets for India for all the Sankirtan devotees all over the world. Haribol! Okay, this is a message from Anusha. Tulsi in the memory of her great-grand Nani, 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Haribol!
Ramrati Prabhu would like to sponsor 2 sets for USA. Haribol! Okay, Rampriya Prabhu. Ramrati Prabhu and Rampriya Prabhu are close. They go together for book distribution. He would like to sponsor 1 set for India on behalf of Samskriti. Haribol!
Actually, we have a lot of devotees waiting outside. So can we squeeze more a little bit in so we can let everyone
Prabhu,
in?
your name?
In this
You can all
yajna?
move up if you wish.
Nikul. In India or US? In India. Nikul wants to sponsor 1 set for his sister in India. Haribol! Sriji Priya would like to sponsor 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam for USA. Haribol! Shraddha Mataji? Okay, Shraddha Mataji would like to sponsor one set to her friend Akash, who is here. Haribol! So Rasika Mataji, Rasika Shudamati Mataji is again. She said she would like to sponsor one set on behalf of her sister-in-law, Nitya, who is recovering from a major surgery.
Haribol!
Haribol!
Okay. Malini, we're going to have to
Vijay Damar
start.
Prabhu, you can announce your big news.
Vijay Damodar Prabhu is announcing that he wants to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam on behalf of his father-in-law, Madhupati Keshav Das. Yeah, Madhupati Keshav Das, one set for USA. Haribol!
Okay, we're counting down the last minutes till the Artik. We'll just have to give one last chance so we can start the Artik.
What's your name? Huh?
Shweta. Shweta would like to sponsor 2 sets outside US. Haribol.
Okay, Sundar Madhav Prabhu would like to sponsor 3 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam in the name of his late mother, and this is for India.
Haribol!
And we got one more. We are still waiting for their name, but would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please, if you can send your name in when you're sending in your text, so we can announce your name.
Yes, we have. Prabhu, remind me your name. So sorry. Saurav. Saurav Prabhu would like to sponsor 2 sets. 3 sets. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Shraddha Mataji.
Okay, Tejas Parik Prabhu would like to sponsor 2 sets. One for the welfare of his family and one for his niece, Radhika.
Haribol!
Haribol! In USA.
Malini, we're going to have to start, so we'll give a last chance to everybody. We'll count down from 10. And if you'd like to sponsor, just raise your hand and you have your last chance. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6. What happened?
This is Rani Sharon would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Haribol!
Way to go, Ronnie. Krishna 10, Krishna 9,